Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 14th of June. This is for your sun or your ascendant. If you're not sure which is which, you can download a free natal horoscope by clicking the link beneath this video. This will show you all the different positions of all the planets beyond the sun and the ascendant, where your moon is, and the relationships they have to one another. Also, if you'd like to get your free daily horoscope to your device each morning, please click on that link below too. And I do feel that my daily horoscopes are a bit more thoughtful than some and will give you some good overall guidance for each day. And finally, if you'd like to take advantage of my very special offer, a year's forecast, a character analysis, a natal package based on your time, date and place of birth, you can do so and get 30% off by seeing the link beneath this video too. Hello Aries, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 14th of June. There's a lot of electric energy around us all these days, isn't there? You know, whether it is technology, whether it's bits and pieces of information, we all have different ways of following the things that interest us. But I think you can gain this week by actually closing down some of those sources of information and providing an oasis of calm at the heart of things. I think that's going to be a really smart thing to do. Generally speaking, your nervous system could be a little bit affected by the energies of Neptune. Neptune's a very dreamy energy, and it's fantastic for imagination and artistry and healing, but it is squaring with the sun. So any kind of information that's doing the rounds needs to be information that's really useful to you. Otherwise you could start to feel weary or drained. So if there are people at work, for example, who do tend to gossip a little bit and it's not necessarily your cup of tea, just discreetly separate yourself. That will be a real smart thing to do this week. Now, of course, Saturn and Uranus have been in conflict since the second week of January, and that has been affecting us all. One planet is about conservatism, Saturn, the other is about radical change, Uranus, but they're both in fixed signs which resist change. So we have had a situation where if you've been trying to re-engineer the way you earn a living, or your future plans are dependent on freeing up some of your resources, that process may be a little bit stressful, and there can be a pinch point right at the start of this week. But there is a quarter moon on Friday in the virtuous sign of Virgo, and that could push you to get busy to try to achieve as much as you can this week. But I would say that this is a week to try to do the things you really have to do and just keep that little space for you where you can just back off and preserve your peace of mind. Now, by Saturday and Sunday, someone you get together with or hear from can actually be very, very positive and healing for you. If you're someone who does like to meditate or take part in any kind of spiritual practice, the link between Venus and Neptune is very, very lovely. It is true on Sunday that Jupiter, the planet of growth, does go into a retrograde. This is in your 12th house, which is very much to do with tuning into our shadow side. Jupiter here, I think, has been encouraging you since it moved in, just to stay aware that maybe there are some new ways you can look at things, perhaps some new practices or principles that are worth looking at. And I think the retrograde here might just say, you know, not everyone who comes up with a new idea, it's not that the idea itself might not be a good one, but not every one of those ideas or every one of those healers or every one of those life guides is necessarily going to be right for you, the individual. So if you find yourself just drawing back a little bit and reflecting on some of the things that you have been thinking about recently, just take that in your stride. That's absolutely fine. Also, the other thing that happens this week is that Mars, your ruler, which had been in conflict with Pluto for the first 2 weeks of June, That's free of that tension now, but it is in a quincunx with Jupiter all through this week. Mars continues in a very playful part of your situation, a very demonstrative one. So I just think that if there's someone you really, really like in a romantic context, the quincunx with Jupiter is saying, however delectable and fanciful they may be, just run it through your inner, deeper being about whether they would actually be good for you at a more soul level.